So first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach a couple of the Bastian posts. These are the posts that have stainless steel. They got a screwdriver notch in the top. They got a hole right through the middle and a threaded in. We're going to take the threaded in, take the drawer front, you're going to screw it down all the way until the threads hit the wood there. I'm going to do it with a power driver just to speed things up. I'm going to screw that all the way down until the solid shaft hits the wood. And if you have a little trouble turning that in, just put a little mineral oil on the threads. You can dip the threads in mineral oil. And once you get that down, I'm going to back this out just a little bit. I'm going to turn it out about a turn until the hole in the post is in direct line with the long edges of the front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these drawer sides to the drawer back by aligning them up and using 1 1/4 number 8 screws. And I'll do exactly the same thing with the other side. Okay, so I'll take the best side. That's going to go to the inside. So I'll just slide that right in the slot, make sure it's seated in the other. And then we're going to attach the front. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a barrel nut into these access holes. Now notice that the barrel nut has a threaded in, has a hole through it. That's where your post is going to come through. And on the lip of this little barrel nut, there's 2 little notches. That basically shows you where the holes are through the side, just in case you need to align them. So I'm going to align those little notches so that they face forward. I'm going to drop those in there. Here again, the little notches going forward. I got the threaded in out. And then I'm going to attach this Bastian post. You can see that a little better through here. Both sides about the same time. But those are going real easy. Just make sure your bottom is seated in there. When you look down the middle of that barrel nut through the threads, you're going to see the hole in the post, and it's offset a little bit over toward the back of the drawer front. And then I'm going to secure that using these little set screws. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is the drawer. We're going to put the handle on. Use the 3/4 inch threaded bolts here, the small ones. This hole is countersunk here, so that's going to go in there. I'm just going to align it. Got some multiple holes on them. The wheel's going to go toward the back of the drawer, and when you put that on there, you'll notice that this is going to butt right up against the back of the front, and you have 2 holes that will appear. You're only going to use 2 of those, and we're going to secure those with the little screws that come in the packet. Okay, now we're going to attach the hardware to the top and the drop lead. The top is notched out for the hinge. Have 4 holes in here for the drop lead. And so you line that up. This is your drop lead. 3 holes and 3 holes. We're going to do one thing. We're going to take the hinge. This hinge is going to fit down in those little notches. And we're going to put the long side of the hinge will go on the drop lead. Then I'll put the other hinge on the other side. We're going to take the drop lead support, the slide support. This is going to be your finger hole that you're going to pull later. And this will go up. We're going to align the 4 holes in the bottom of the top with these, and you're going to secure those in 4 spots. Okay, just in case you're wondering, these little holes that are in the drop leaf, they're put in there so that when you get the heart assembled and you close the drop leaf, that you have some clearance for the little wooden pegs that go into the legs. So that's all that's for. So it's not really used for anything other than that. Okay, now we're going to assemble the left side. You've got the top left side brace, but the orientation of this is those holes are going to go down, and your legs are mirror images of each other. What I'm going to do first is I've got to attach 2 bastion posts to each leg. The instructions probably told you to go ahead and put the pins in the ends of all the braces. I like to do it just when I'm getting ready to put them in together. But you take the shorter 3/4 inch pins, insert them. Some may be a little tighter than others. They're just going, it's okay if they're loose, they're just going to keep the brace from turning. So I'm going to take this top brace, and I'm going to drop my bastion post in like I did before. I'm going to take the little notches on the top. I'm going to align them with the post. Now the post should be down so that the notch in the top of the post is parallel with this long edge here. And here again, you go down to the wood, you back it off about a turn, and then you make sure it attached perfectly straight in there. Okay, once I have the post, all 4 of them aligned, I'm just going to take it, I'm going to drop the barrel nut into the nut access holes. The hole in the nut is going to be facing the post. We're going to line them up so that the pin goes in the brace and the post goes in the end. And I can secure that. Here again, when I'm looking down, right down through that threaded end, I can see the hole in the post, but it's off-center. So if I make sure that this little nut is against the wood, and I tighten that up, the point of that set screw is going to hit the tapered sides of the post and tighten it down as it seeks the center of the hole. Okay, now we'll put the bottom side brace on. I'm going to put both of them on the same leg first. Here again, I'm going to put the pins in, and as you can see, some of them are loose. But I've got the post in. I'm going to take a bastion nut, drop that in, threads out, notches toward the post, and I'll take a little set screw and you tighten it up, okay? And we're going to do exactly the same thing with the other side. Okay, now we're going to put the right side together. Here again, left and a right leg, or left front, the same leg as the right rear leg. So they're just mirror images of each other. They're just like the other ones. This is the top side brace. You see there's a couple little holes right here. That's going to be to attach the glide later on. And so I take that, and I'm going to drop my bastion post in place, line them up with the little notches there. I'm just going to attach the one side at a time. If you haven't put the pins in, put the pins in the ends. And then we're going to attach this side. Here again, I can line up my post. Goes into place. We're going to do the same thing at the bottom. Okay. And we're going to put a pin into this end of this brace, and we're going to attach the other side. Okay, just to show you where you should be at this point. This is your left side, this is your right side. You're going to go like this eventually, but that's what you should be looking at this point. Okay, now I've attached the glides. There's a little pack of screws that says attach these to the glides using these screws to the sides. And it goes in 2 places, 2 little pilot holes there. Notice how this overlaps the leg. This is the front of the table. And you've got a slot here. There's an open slot here so that the drawer the wheel on the drawer is going to come over top of that one, and the same on the other side. So if you've got them oriented right, they should be exactly like that. So when they come together, they should be exactly like that. At this step, we're going to put the basket rails on. There's 6 of them. They're all exactly alike. This is the top of the right side. I come down to this first hole below the glide. And I'm going to attach this on either side using 1 1/4 number 8 screws. Then we're going to do this here and here. Okay, this is a completed side with the basket guide rails. It's your right and this is your left. You can start using a power screwdriver on these, but only tighten them halfway down with a power screwdriver, because if you overdrive them, you don't have a lot of wood there, and you can split that very easily. So when you get down to about 1/4 of an inch left, just hand tighten them from then on down. But then this is where you should be at this point. Okay, now I'm going to take the right side and I'm going to put the back assembly together. This is the top back brace. You notice you've got a slot that runs all the way through the little holes there. And what I have to do is I've do like before. I've got to put a couple pins in the ends here. Okay. Then I'm going to align the pin in the hole that's near the brace here. That in place. And I'm going to secure this brace with the 1 3/4 inch machine screw and a nut. Put the nut on the tip of your finger and push it against the wood. Now I'm going to attach the bottom front brace. I'm going to put little pins in the ends of the... Might be a good time to put the 1 inch pins. There's 2 1 inch pins that are going to hold the shelf. Those are the medium-sized pins, or the largest ones in this collection. So 1 inch long. Then I'm going to put this in and attach it with a 1 3/4 inch bolt and a nut. Okay, now I've attached the other side with just the pin, putting the pins into place. Then I'm going to secure that one, this side. Here again, I'm going to put the nut on my fingertip. A little bit easier to control that way. Okay, we're going to do the front assembly, and I put this together. It's pretty rigid, but you have a little play in there. I put 3/4 inch pins in the ends. You can either put them in the hole there, put them in the pins, and we're going to put that in the top. We're going to separate that a little bit, and we'll put the other one in, so it runs free. And then I'm going to secure this brace with a 1 3/4 inch machine screw and nut, and I'll secure that. Okay, we're going to attach the top front brace. There's no pins in this one. You notice that you've got some countersunk holes. That's so that the screw head will be flush with the bottom. That's going to go in on the bottom there, and then we're going to attach this brace with the same bolts, 1 3/4 inch machine screws and nuts. And then okay, now we're going to attach the base to the top. We're going to turn the top upside down with the hinges up. We're going to invert the frame so that you've got the holes for the casters sticking up in the air. You've got the hole for the drawer here. You've got space and on this side. And if you'll notice, there's 4 little pilot holes. There's 1, 2, and back on the back side, 3 and 4. The ones on the back are farther apart than the ones on the front, okay? And then we're going to start these 1 3/4 inch. They're a little bit longer screw than the ones that we've been using, but we're going to attach that. We're just going to start from go through. Sometimes the pilot holes get a little sawdust in them, but you don't see it right away. We'll check to see if you have a little sawdust. We're going to start these, just finger start them. Now the back, we're going to use Z brackets. Little Z brackets sort of look like a Z. You got a hole in one side, a little bend in the other. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take 5/8 number 8 screws. That's a little short. Okay, when you're attaching a Z, you might find it easier to put the Z into the slot first and then align the hole. You don't have room for it with an electric screwdriver to get in there. And then once you get in there, straighten it up and tighten it down, tighten both of those down. Then you can go back to the front and start, and you just finish tightening these down. Okay, while we got this thing upside down, we're just going to put the 4 caster or wheel sleeves in there. They're exactly alike. Then we put that in and we hammer it in with a hard hammer so that the teeth bite into the wood. Then we're going to put the casters on. You have 2 that are locking and 2 that are playing. We put the locking ones on the front. You can put them anywhere you want, but I find it easier to get 2 on the front. Just take them, cap them in, or sometimes you just push them down and they'll go. Okay, I'll show you how to put the baskets together. Just unfold it, snap one end, you have little hooks. It's easier to come over this end right here than to try to come over this one. So we're just going to push down a little bit, hook it over the side, push down a little bit, lift up a little bit, come in between so that you're right in between this vertical and this one. Then we turn it around and we do exactly the same thing on the other side. And they'll slide in. And you can also slide them out the other side. They'll come right out the other side. If you want to, they'll come right out the other side. So it's pretty versatile that way. Take the bottom basket out. It was a little premature there. You already have the 4 1-inch pins in place. So take this, tuck it in place, and drop it on the pins. And I'll put this back in. Okay, now we're going to put the little disc in. The little discs have a grain on them, and I like to line that grain up with the grain in the wood. And I'll show you down the lower one here. They're tapered. The insides are tapered, and then you can just cap them in place. If you don't want to mar the heads, then you put a little plastic or just almost anything and cap them in place. And there's 8 of those. Okay, I'm going to put the towel bar on. You can do that when you get the side assembly, or you can do it now. But take your chrome tube, little standoffs there. And you're going to take 2 1-inch Phillips head screws, and from the inside you're going to start one of these like this. There's a little pilot hole in the end. Put that in there. Now we'll just put the drawer in, these wheels going over top the wheels on the glides. Lift up. Hey, it fits, so we're doing okay. So then you have your carts all ready to go.